Our people are scattered, like stars in the galaxy. What are we? What do we stand for?
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. I hope you're all doing well, and in this video we're going to be talking about some rather disappointing news for the next episode of The Mandalorian Season 3. We're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. In this video we're going to be taking a read from the direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. If you can't already tell by the thumbnail or title of this video, we're going to be talking about the runtime of the next episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 4, the midway point to the season. As the article reads, The Mandalorian's next episode breaks a frustrating runtime record. The next episode of the Star Wars hit The Mandalorian will decidedly mix things up in terms of its runtime, breaking a series record in the process. Din Djarin and Grogu's journey throughout a galaxy far, far away continues in their fan-favorite Star Wars show, The Mandalorian. Fans are accustomed to the show moving at a pretty decent pace while having a lot to offer in each episode. This week's episode, however, despite being The Mandalorian's longest outing so far out of all of its seasons, as we've discussed here on the channel already, was also the most slowly plotted and slowly paced at that. It took a break from Din to focus on an ex-Imperial cloning expert, Dr. Pershing, who appeared in both previous seasons of The Mandalorian before. It is still interesting to a point in my own thoughts and opinions, and I'm very interested to see how Dr. Pershing is going to play into a bigger role, into the bigger story moving forward with our main group of characters, Bo-Katan, Grogu, and Din Djarin. This being said, still, next week's episode might end up having viewers wanting more in terms of its overall runtime. However, to say that's going to be necessary or not is something for the overall episode to determine, and only time will tell. This here being said, The Mandalorian Chapter 20, the next episode, is going to be the shortest episode yet. We hop from the longest episode of The Mandalorian to now the shortest episode out of The Mandalorian, out of all of its seasons at that there as well. As the article reads, according to Twitter's Cryptic 4K Qual, a reliable source from advanced runtime info that have gotten previous episodes of The Mandalorian's runtime correct that we've covered here on the channel, the fourth episode of The Mandalorian's third season, Chapter 20, will be 30 minutes and 39 seconds in length. This makes it the show's shortest episode yet, and for overall context, the previous shortest episode before this one was Chapter 2, all the way from Season 1, the second episode, titled The Child, clocking in at 30 minutes and 53 seconds, making this next episode the shortest by literally like 10 seconds, which is honestly really insane. Other shortest episodes of The Mandalorian include Chapter 14, The Tragedy, from Season 2, clocking in at 31 minutes and 39 seconds, Chapter 5, The Gunslinger, clocking in at 32 minutes and 48 seconds, and Chapter 11, The Heiress, clocking in at 32 minutes and 58 seconds. So it does seem for sure that the shortest that The Mandalorian will go is around 30 minutes or so. However, if this is necessary or not, or if this would be, still a good episode or not, is something, as I had mentioned, only time will really tell. Additionally, Chapter 20, the next episode, will mark the return of Carl Weathers to the director's chair. Carl Weathers, of course, plays the High Magistrate Greef Karga in the series we first saw in the first episode of this season. So it is quite possible that Greef Karga will maybe potentially appear in this next episode. However, I think that we all have a in common question here that stands. Why are some of these Mandalorian episodes so dang short? This reduction in episode runtime might come off as a jarring to the audiences, who could have gotten used to the longer runtimes of these previous episodes in the third season of The Mandalorian. But The Mandalorian is a show that packs a lot of action, cool character moments, and interesting visuals into each and every episode. So even though the upcoming Chapter 20 is going to be the briefest one yet, the shortest, it'll more than likely still be a fun, engaging time for Star Wars fans, especially for those of you that might have thought that this previous episode that focused purely on Dr. Pershing was much slower, and I am one of those people. So going forward and seeing that this next episode could possibly, have a lot more action and just an overall a lot more kind of going on in it is something to really look forward to. And also seeing from a different point of view, if you will, that seeing that we would have a shorter episode, a little bit of an easier episode, I think is the proper term to use for this. An episode that could potentially be on maybe the slower side, where there isn't a lot happening, would be something nice to have before we head into the latter of the season, moving forward into the final 4 episodes of the season already. This episode also, I think, will kind of determine where we go forward for the rest of the season, seeing, as I had mentioned previously before in plenty of our Mandalorian videos here on the channel, that all of the marketing, all of the promoting, all of the trailers for the third season of The Mandalorian are all around the whole idea of Din Djarin traveling to this cursed planet, Mandalore, to redeem himself to the Children of the Watch, his creed of the Mandalorians. And to see him accomplish this so quickly within the second episode, and there's still 6 episodes left, we're kind of left with, like, where are we going to go next? What's going to happen next? We've just about seen all of the footage from the trailers and TV spots and promotional material for the third season of The Mandalorian, so flying in kind of blindly to the, the second half of the season is something to look forward to, I believe. And as I had also mentioned previously before, time in and time out here on the channel, for the last 6+ months now, is that I am heavily on the belief that we will have a quote-unquote battle cap episode, essentially, that focuses on Ahsoka and her group of characters, the Ghost Crew, that would help set up for her show, the Ahsoka show, coming out a little bit later this year. That's going to be the next big live-action Star Wars series on Disney Plus after the third season of The Mandalorian, so it would make sense, especially seeing that it's taking place in the Mandoverse, that they would want to spend some time to set that up. Maybe it could potentially be this episode. Or, as into the other spectrum of things, it could be Boba Fett, and seeing how there could possibly have a bottle cap episode that focuses on Fennec Shand, Boba Fett, and those characters that would help better set up for the Book of Boba Fett Season 2, and even formally more or less announce it. So also seeing that we'd have a shorter episode for this next episode of The Mandalorian could make for a bit of a cameo fest, if you will, if that's what you want to call it. I don't really like to call these kind of characters cameos anymore, because they play such a significant role within the Mandoverse. They have their own shows. However, whatever the case is, The Mandalorian's third season has certainly been exciting, and filled with Star Wars lore, tons of it, from Din Djarin visiting the mines of the Mandalore, to the show further foreshadowing elements of the sequel trilogy. There's no shortage of intriguing details in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now, from there, that is where the article concludes, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have this article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. Seeing that the next episode of The Mandalorian, or presumably would be, speculated and rumored at that, theorized at that, not officially confirmed by Lucasfilm, Disney, or Star Wars themselves, so do take it with a pinch of salt. This episode will clock in just roughly around 30 minutes long. And honestly, going forward, anything can happen, as I had mentioned. We've seen just about all of the marketing, all of the promoting, all of the TV spots, and all of the trailer footage already in these first 2-3 episodes of The Mandalorian. So I'd love to hear in the comment section down below on what you guys believe we will see next going forward in the third season of The Mandalorian. What do you want to see going forward with the rest of the season, the latter half of it with the next 4 episodes? Of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.